first battle of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. First up is Flepser with its flipper and a design that seems to say, stay away. Making their return to the warzone is Bamm with that axe on top there. This Flintstones tribute is sure to rock and roll in our arena here tonight. Under the auspices of Krab-Bot, Growler, our deadly pooch, and his sinister owner, the terrifying Mr. Psycho with that huge claw and hammer. Opening match of the evening is underway now. Bamm did very well in the first series of Dutch Robot Wars. They'll be hoping to replicate some of that success here tonight. Flepser, the most ponderous. They've got those rather big wheels on the side there. Can't imagine they're easy to steer. Oh, underneath the flipper. Oh, it's a little bit weedy though, lads, isn't it? Rather a steep angle for a flipper that's as slow moving as that. The pit has been activated though. That's an instant knockout to any robot foolish enough to fall down at Growler there, nearly chasing Flepser down. Flepser back on the attack, back underneath Bamm. Very good control. Look at the speed of Growler. Any robot foolish enough to get into the corner patrol zone is going to taste his bite, and I don't think Bamm's going to be tasting much more than defeat if they get stuck on the arena wall. Growler pulling them free there. Flepser celebrating before they've even won. Bamm is not counted out yet, but then again, they haven't brought the axe into play so far. Bamm are going to have to do a lot more than they have done if they want to make it through to the next round of the competition. Flepser certainly slower than Bamm, more difficult to steer. Oh, poor control there. But they've been controlling the match, and Bamm now in big trouble as Growler takes a huge chunk out of them, or at least attempts to. Mr. Psycho coming in for a look. Talk about caught between a rock and a hard place. And a Flepser. Bamm looks lost out there, quite frankly. This was a robot that really impressed in the first series. They're all over here tonight, very nearly down the pit of oblivion there. Very poor driving, very poor control from Bamm, pushing Flepser there, nearly trying to get them down the pit there. To no avail, however. Uh-oh. Flepser's tyres looking a little bit on the wonky side there. Growler coming in for a ride. Looks to me like this one's going to go to the judges, who are going to determine who goes through to the next round of the competition. Our panel of judges, Martin Smith, Matt Irvine, and head judge Professor Noel Sharkey, are going to have to judge this one on the usual criteria of style, control, damage and aggression. And the result is in, and they've gone for Flepser. Almost a foregone conclusion there. A wise choice by the judges there, it has to be said. Slamtilt is what you might call a thwack-bot. That mace-like weapon on the front there slams down using the force of inertia to deal attacks from above on its opponents. Twisted Metal Evo, however, has a horizontal spinning disc, and we've seen from the likes of Hypnodisc just how dangerous and deadly those kind of weapons can be. Growler back in the arena once more for this one. And so too is Mr. Psycho. They just can't get enough of this action, can they? Not that I can fault them. Activate is called. Flepser missing with that initial swing there. Twisted Metal Evo. Getting underneath briefly there. Twisted Metal Evo very, very quick around the arena. Slamtilt. Looking a little aimless, a little unsure where it's going. Growler knows exactly where he's going. Twisted Metal Evo gets free though. The original Twisted Metal was a heat winner in Series 1. They'll be hoping to do the same here tonight, and probably better, I imagine. Pit of Oblivion has been released. Oh, and there's a wheel off. Surely Slamtilt can't come back from that. Look at this. Deftly dodges the mace and just smashes the wheel off. Well, there's really no recovering from that now, is there? Slamtilt now. Going round and round in circles. That's pretty much all it can do at this point. With no inertia behind it, it certainly can't use its weapon. This is a foregone conclusion at this stage. Twisted Metal Evo, unless they do something bizarre, like drive down the pit themselves, have won this one. There's no two ways about it. Growler, though, coming in for a little look there, coming in for a nibble. Dog food. Robot Wars style. Calm down, Growler, you'll take the Ref-Bot out. Oh, Growler wants to play with his food. Bad dog. Oh, we don't mind, I suppose. Ref-Bot counting up to 10 to officially count Slamtilt out of the match. And there they go, through the air with the greatest of ease. And it's with the greatest of ease that Twisted Metal Evo has won this match. Mr. Psycho bringing the hammer down on top of Slamtilt there. Oh, suddenly they're not having a good time anymore. Oh, they probably think it's mean that we're picking on them after they've been counted out. Boo-hoo, lads. Well, at least one of us sees the funny side of it. Mr. Psycho, absolutely ginormous next to the side of Slamtilt. Wait a second, placing it in the drop zone now. Okay, admittedly, this is a little cruel at this stage. What's going to come out of that mystery box above the drop zone? Oh, bowling balls! Shattering down. Shattered are their chances of winning this one. Look at that. Oh, bits and bobs flying off. Further damage being done. Hammerhead are another returning team. Hammerhead 2, this model, is a completely new build. With its flipper tail, this one could be catch of the day. IDO looks a little bit like a Swiss Army knife glued into a robot, if you ask me. Interesting design, but I do wonder if it will succeed. And in the arena for the house robot is Shunt with the bulldozer scoop and the diamond edge pickaxe. And he's joined by the Sergeant 10 Hut, Sergeant Bash, with the crushing claw and flamethrower. Third fight of the evening now underway. Hammerhead stalking its prey like a real shark. IDO spinning there. Nice little flip from Hammerhead there to start things off. It feels to me like spikes as a weapon have had their day on Robot Wars, and IDO is kind of a throwback in that regard. It really is an interesting sort of design. Certainly I wouldn't like to trip over it. IDO activating the pit there. It is interesting how it's tangled up in Hammerhead's arms though. Oh! And spun round there. IDO's strategy used against them. They evidently tried to twist and turn, latching on with the spikes to throw Hammerhead down the pit, but that strategy was reversed. Hammerhead the stronger here, and down IDO went. Short and sweet, that one. Hammerhead goes through. You may know this team by another name. Krab-Bot have also competed as Crushtation, and they've got the crushing claws on that cute little crab robot of theirs to put the squeeze on any foes. Alien Destructor 2 is the horror sequel to the original Alien Destructor. It's a very attractive designed robot, but I'm not sure how strong it will be. Sergeant Bash didn't even leave the arena after the last one. What will be the point? He didn't move. Shunt, however, went off for a tea break, and Dead Metal's here to take his place with that circular saw and those pincers. I suppose it'd be an oil break for Shunt rather than a tea break, wouldn't it? Alien Destructor nippy around the arena. Krab-Bot not quite as manoeuvrable. They've got the claws in though. It's an ingenious weapon on Krab-Bot. It's operated by those gloves that we saw little Dominic Vissel wearing there. When he closes his hands, the claws close as well. And when he opens his hands, so too do the claws open. It's a brilliant, brilliant concept. It's a very clever piece of engineering. Just the kind of genius we love to see on Robot Wars. Dead Metal now showing his genius when it comes to the art of war. Getting Krab-Bot in the corner. Krab-Bot now free. Latched once again onto Alien Destructor 2. Taking him for a little spin here. Alien Destructor, as the original model was, is a gorgeous looking robot in a horrible sci-fi gross out kind of way. So much care and passion has gone into the design of that machine. I do wonder about that armor though. I'm not sure if it's going to be strong enough. Certainly not withstanding a bit of a pushing from Krab-Bot right here. Could be mistaken, I think the pit might have been activated. I'm going to be stood corrected on that one. Both teams dancing around the arena currently. This isn't a dancing contest, lads. This is war! Wedge now between Sergeant Bash and Dead Metal, and that is not a place anybody wants to be. Krab-Bot is out of danger. Alien Destructor, however, far from it. Stuck in that CPZ. Oh, the pit was indeed not... it hadn't descended, but it is now. That pit waiting more. A gaping jaw to hell for any robots. Unfortunate enough to go down there. Whoa, blowing out one of the tyres there. It's Dead Metal. Look at the punishment on Alien Destructor here. All the hard work that goes into these robots. Gone in an instant when up against our house robots. Well, it's going to go to the judges, but frankly, this to me looks like a foregone conclusion, if you ask me, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see if the judges agree. But I think Krab-Bot's going through on this one. I think they think so too. Krab-Bot quietly confident. Well, the judges have made their decision based on style, control, damage and aggression. Well, there could only be one winner. And of course, they've gone for Krab-Bot. Into the semi-final round now. Twisted Metal Evo taking on Flepser in our first semi-final match here. Spinner versus Flipper fights, always very popular with Robot Wars fans. Speaking of popular with Robot Wars fans, here's Matilda. She's got a spinner and a flipper. That's just greedy. And here's Growler. Well, he's always greedy for carnage, I suppose. But then I'm hungry for carnage as well, so let's get this fight underway! Slow trundling start there from Twisted Metal Evo. Flepser angling to get underneath. That flipper looks anemic, to be totally honest with you. In fact, it barely looks like it's attached. That front panel seems loose. It was already slow. If it's coming off, then Flepser can't have much chance of winning this one. The pit descending again. That's been a key component this evening. And Twisted Metal Evo very nearly went down it, despite being the ones to activate it. Oh, well. The flipper is assuredly hanging off now. That huge dent that Twisted Metal Evo put in the front of it. Steering seems a little bit wonky. One of the tyres has been punctured. I had a feeling those tyres would be an issue. Twisted Metal Evo coming in for the kill now. And a few smacks with that blade there. Oh my goodness! The power of Matilda's flywheel tail. Look at this. Oh, the tyre exploding off there. And the robot uppercutted onto its side by Matilda's bottom. Ooh, perish the thought. There's probably no coming back from this for Flepser. Divine intervention could be the only way to see them through to the heat final at this stage. Twisted Metal Evo in for another little wipe there, and again nearly down the pit. Oh, Matilda, you are angry today. But then again, if you're going to wander close to a corner patrol zone, you deserve everything you get. I mean, it's just silly, isn't it? I wouldn't go into a corner patrol zone, would you? Dread to think what that could do to me legs. Oh, the carcass, or what remains of it, of Flepser now placed on the arena floor flipper, and they are up and over for a ride. This one's academic at this point. Krab-Bot didn't even count them out, but frankly, I don't think there's much need to. Looks like the other wheels come off. Oh no, it's still hanging on there, just. Any hope they had now is thoroughly down the drain. Speaking of down, let's drop something down from up in the air. Out of our drop zone, what could it be this time? Well, after that tiresome performance, how about a stack of tyres? Anything? No? Alright then, suit yourself. Down the pit with Flepser. Twisted Metal Evo goes through to the heat final. Dead Metal is the daddy. Ooh, but who's the mummy? What does the child look like? I'll leave you to ponder the answer to that one as Hammerhead make their entrance now. And so too does Krab-Bot. We've got a underwater theme to this fight. I'll tell you who's not all wet behind the ears. That's Matilda. And Shunt Looking to make a splash in this fight. Hammerhead, very nippy, very impressive. We didn't get to see a great deal of them in their previous fight, though, it has to be said. It was that short. But then look, we'll get to see just what they can do in this bout. Krab-Bot, also quite speedy. Whoa, hello! Krab-Bot very nearly flicked out of the arena there. This is going to be a very fast-paced match, I can tell. Krab-Bot, gripping, slipping, and nearly tripping, as they got slammed there. Some careful and steady driving necessary from Hammerhead here. Krab-Bot stopping to take in the scenery, it looked like. He'll not win a fight that way, guys. Tangled in a dance of death. But remember what happened the last time Hammerhead did that. Matilda, she's not one for dancing. She doesn't feel like dancing. No sir, no dancing today. I'm getting dizzy just looking at these two. The floor spinner, not activated, thank goodness. I can only imagine what kind of a whirling dervish they'd be if they stood on that. Oh, now it has been activated. Never mind the floor spinning, my head's spinning. This is very tenacious, though, I've got to say. Sometimes on Robot Wars you do need to have these strategic sort of clashes. You can't just ram into one another head on. These teams have both scouted their opponent's weapons and they've planned their strategies accordingly. You have a clash as a result that's certainly less flashy, but it's got a lot more stylistic flair behind it. A lot of thought in this match. And strategy is a key element of any good Robotier's makeup. Shunt there, bringing down the axe. And frankly, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot construct a good strategist in your shed when you're building your robot. Hammerhead there, slammed into the arena angle grinders on the side walls there. This one for a place in the Heat final, don't forget. Against Twisted Metal Evo. It's going to have to go to the judges. This is too close to call. I think both have put on a very strong showing in this match. I couldn't pick the winner here. Could you? Could the judges? Well, let's hope so, because that's what we're paying them for. Let's see how this one goes. I don't think either of the teams know which way that one went. Throwing it over to the judges. The result has come through. You know the criteria by now. Style, control, damage, and aggression. And based on those 4 criteria, the judges have decided that joining Twisted Metal Evo in the Heat final will be Krab-Bot. Well-earned victory there. Twisted Metal Evo and Hammerhead now competing to see who's going to be joining Philippa 2 and Lizard in the series grand final. Now don't forget as well, in addition to the 5 Heat winners, a wildcard entrant will be selected by the judges to make up the final lineup of the grand final. Speaking of wildcards, Matilda and Sir Kilowatt are a wildcard in any situation. This one's underway and it's for all the marbles, at least for this stage of the competition. This is where things really start heating up. Got two teams that are taking this contest very seriously and want to advance to become the Dutch Robot Wars champions. Don't forget, of course, the previous champion, that being Slicer, vacated their championship, which means we are guaranteed a new champion. Who could it be? Could it be one of these two robots? Robot is looking on. Krab-Bot latched on. Twisted Metal Evo. Sir Kilowatt trying to separate them there. If only to play with Twisted Metal Evo himself. Very nearly dropping them out of the arena. That would have almost been unfair. But Sir Kilowatt is a big fan of being fair and doing things by the books. Twisted Metal Evo struggling to get that spinning blade up to full speed. No such troubles with the claws on Krab-Bot, of course. Krab-Bot really pushing the advantage here. Good quality aggression from them in this match. Zero fear of that spinner. That's what we like on Robot Wars. Roboteers that aren't afraid to get stuck into the action. Twisted Metal Evo really struggling here, it's got to be said. Their options are limited. Oh! Oh my goodness, and they are a lot more limited now. Matilda shattering that panel there. Look at this. Just like a hot knife through butter. Buckling that top panel there. That's gruesome. It goes to show you exactly how dangerous our house robots can be, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to mess with Matilda, that's for sure. And you don't want to mess with Sir Kilowatt either. Twisted Metal Evo stuck between two sets of claws now. And the big claw on Kilowatt, picking them up like they're a plaything. Effortlessly, Kilowatt just taking them for his signature spin. Tosses them away like they're nothing, just a discarded piece of rubbish. Krab-Bot activating the Pit of Oblivion. About to put this one in the record books, I think. Twisted Metal Evo all over the place. Krab-Bot going to try and make a final mad dash and get them down the pit, I think. But the clock is probably going to run out before they get the chance. This one's going to go to the judges, but I think I can probably guess which way this one's going, ladies and gentlemen. A lot less close than the previous fight was. The judges really earning their money this evening. Looks of nerves on the face of the Krab-Bot team. They're not entirely sure they've won that. I don't think either team really knows which way that one went. Fortunately, we do have our panel of judges. Let's have a look at some of the highlights while they're deliberating. Krab-Bot, solid aggression throughout the match, as I noted. They really controlled the pace of the fight. They controlled... Oof! They controlled where around the arena Twisted Metal Evo went. And don't forget, the house robots are considered an arena hazard by any good roboteer worth their salt. So steering your opponent towards one is solid controlling of the fight. The decision is in, and advancing to the grand final is Krab-Bot. Eight more robots coming in the next episode. Only one can join tonight's winners in the grand final. Who's it going to be? Well, I couldn't tell you, because it's all double Dutch to me.